Hello, manifestors. Let's talk about something that is not really talked about out there and most certainly not very much understood, which is imagination. What is imagination, really? And how much of a difference it will make for you and your manifestation once you understand this. My name is Sylviane. I am a manifesting coach. If you want my one-on-one help or join my group coaching and check many other things, check the link down below to my website. Everything is on there. Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and comment. Those things are easy to do and they help my channel greatly. So without further ado, let's get into the topic of our video. So we all know that Neville Goddard taught that imagination creates reality. Yes, he did say creates, and he did call the 3D reality. But frankly, he knew better. I think that the reason he phrased it this way, it's to be understood by the public, which, truth be told, was a people that was asleep, just the same as us. When we talk about the law, we bring in people who are ready to hear this type of teaching, but who are still pretty much asleep. And if you told them certain things right off the bat, they would not understand it at all and most likely not accept it. This is one of the reasons, for example, that I'm not really interested in teaching the law to people who are completely ignorant about it, who've never read Neville and know nothing about it. So, yes, Neville called the 3D the reality, but for his more seasoned audience, let's say, he also said that the 3D is a shadow, an illusion, and a dream. So all of a sudden, it goes from reality to just a shadow, a dream, or an illusion. Some people like to say, for example, that Neville contradicted himself. But no, he didn't. If you're saying that Neville contradicted himself, it's the same as saying that all of us coaches who are teaching you the law of assumption are contradicting ourselves. Because if you look at my first videos on this channel, there are some things that I used to be more into that I am much less into now. So it's not that we change our mind or contradict ourselves. It's called evolution. We evolve. We grow into this law. If I was the same person than I was 3 or 3.5 years ago, when I started this channel, or started helping people understanding the law before I started this channel, if I was the same person I was back then I would have made no progress whatsoever. And that would be sad, wouldn't it? So Neville is the same thing. Right? It's the same thing for Neville. He was more into certain things at the beginning of his career and much less into them at the end and more into other things. When I say other things, I mean he had evolved and understood this law better from a deeper consciousness, from a deeper I amness. Therefore, it seems that he was contradicting himself, but he wasn't. And people will write whole articles about this topic, just don't understand a thing about the evolution of Neville, let's put it this way. So, while Neville said imagination creates reality, he also said something very important that people are forgetting. He said imagination is God. So when many people out there believe still that imagination is fake and 3D is real, because don't lie to yourself, guys. Most people in this community still believe that imagination is fake and 3D is real, right? But think about it. If imagination is fake, then God is fake, right? That God force that controls everything is fake, obviously. If imagination is fake, then God is fake. If God is fake, then everything goes to shit, right? Frankly. So, while Neville said imagination creates reality, he also said maybe a few times that imagination is reality and that imagination is God, and that he said it quite a bit. So, if imagination is God, indeed, imagination is reality. It's not because it's not the same reality as the 3D. It is real. And it is so real, my dear friends, that without imagination, there would be no 3D. And when it comes to your particular experience in this world, everything that you experience is imagination. And everything that you experience is past imagination. Let me give you an example. A post that I wrote to my Facebook group. I wrote that post just after I had written an email to the members of my group coaching to announce to them what we were going to talk about that Wednesday. So here it goes. Imagination is reality. I know that Neville said that imagination creates reality, and believe it or not, this term creates reality can truly mess with people's mind, because most people with their rational mind imply that imagining is not real while 3D is the reality. If you've believed that until now, you've got it all wrong, and it's time to change your perspective. Let's remember that while Neville said imagination creates reality so people could better understand him from their current consciousness, he also said imagination is God. So what does that mean? If imagination is God, imagination not only creates reality, but imagination is reality. Yes, that's right. Imagination doesn't just create reality as if the only reality was 3D, but even more so, imagination is reality. Think about it. If imagination weren't reality, then it would imply that God isn't real, while his creation is. That would make no sense at all, now would it? As a matter of fact, 3D is just a reflection. It's not reality. Let me give you a concrete example. I imagined that I would discuss imagination in my group today. And then I imagined writing an email announcing this to the members of my group. And then I imagined writing it for the group as well. Thus, you are now reading something that belongs to the past. You are reading this piece in the 3D, which is only a reflection of my imagination. The real part of this is not that post in the 3D. It was my imaginal act, where I imagined discussing this topic and writing those words, right? Same with this video. Now you are watching this video. But this video was imagined just a couple of days after I wrote this post, right? I imagined making this video talking about this topic, And then I created the video, I recorded the video based on my imaginal act. And now you are watching my past imaginal act. You, on your end, maybe had imagined that you wanted more explanation, deeper understanding about this law. And maybe you felt impelled to click on my video. I receive a lot of those messages, by the way, on my channel. For example, this one. You are the absolute best manifestation coach. I think I've listened to almost all of the popular manifesting teachers on YouTube, and none of them can hold a candle to you. I must have manifested you, right? Thanks for being here. So this person needed, most likely, exactly what I'm teaching, maybe the way I'm teaching it. This comment here, I could not have for the life of me making it up myself. I would have felt this is too much. But someone else wrote it, right? Someone else said, you're the best teacher of all the teachers on YouTube. And she's not the only one. So the thing is, I imagine to be the best teacher. And I don't say it to compare myself to anyone. I don't care about what anyone else is doing. I had created the assumption a long time ago, at the very beginning of my channel, that I was going to be the best Neville Goddard's teaching manifesting coach. I phrased it this way. And because it became an assumption, I receive a lot of comments from people saying that to me. Whether it's true or not does not even matter. What matters is it's my imaginal act. I imagined to be the best Neville Goddard's teaching manifesting coach, and my 3D world reflects that in other people's mouths, in other people's thoughts about my teaching. So this is how we see, this is an example of how we see that imagination is reality. Because there is no such thing as the reality, right? Just a reality. So in my reality, I am the best Neville Goddard's teaching manifesting coach, and that reflects into my world, into the people that are inclined and impelled to click on my videos and to feel that I am speaking to them in such a way that they've never heard it before. When you imagine something, and by the way, please, I'm going to say it one more time because there's so many people out there that are still confused about this. When Neville talked about imagination, he didn't mean just visualization at all. He never meant that. Visualization is just one of the ways to imagine. But we imagine in many, many different ways. Thoughts are part of our imagination. Feelings are part of our imagination. The touch, the smell, the audio, all of that is part of our imagination. Our inner conversations are part of our imagination. When we have arguments in our mind with someone. So, what you imagine all day long, not just when you are doing your little sat where you are with your little SP or whatever, right? What you imagine after that is what really matters. Because if you do any techniques to manifest your specific desire, but after that you let your imagination wander, then that's not going to work for you. Because most likely, what you imagine on autopilot and by default is what you truly believe to be true and based on your real assumptions. So those are the imaginal acts that you should be more aware of, as a matter of fact, and more careful about than your little sats or your little imaginal act that you may do even when you're not falling asleep afterward. Because your imagination creates your reality, but all your imagination creates reality. So let me give you an example that happens to a lot of people on a daily basis. You have a specific desire, and you have specific scenes you play in your head, specific affirmations, maybe even specific scripting, whatever. But deep down, there is a fear that this is not gonna turn out the way you want. That if it involves another person especially, that other person is not the version that you want. They're not doing or saying what you wish they would be doing or saying. And you keep on focusing on that 90% of the time. And then 10% of the time you're doing your techniques. What type of imagination do you think is going to win on the scale? Right? Your little 10, 20, even an hour focused, imagining that you have your desire. If it's a specific person, they are exactly how you want them to be. Or the 90%, 80 to 90% of the time where you are imagining actually something else, something completely different, something completely based on the 3D current circumstances, for example. What do you think is going to win? What's going to win is going to be what you're doing most of the time, which is the imaginal act that you're not aware of, but that you are certainly practicing all day long. And Neville said that, right? He was very clear about that. He said that your inner conversations, right? What's going on in your mind on a constant basis, which is imagination, by the way, right? As we just mentioned. So Neville said, if your inner conversations do not match or even contradict your imaginal act, your inner conversations are going to win. So don't fool yourself, guys. If your inner conversations, meaning what you imagine constantly most of the day, is contradicting your little imaginal acts, your little affirmations, what you're doing on a constant basis, it's also imagination, and imagination creates your 3D. Therefore, those are the imaginal acts that are going to win. And if you don't have your desire right now, after weeks and months of trying, this is the reason. There's no other reason. The reason is that there's still something very heavy in you that is creating the opposite of what you want, because they are part of your default imaginal acts. It's what you are imagining on a constant basis. And imagination is reality. Therefore, it reflects and keeps on reflecting on your physical world. Neville said this about imagination that's going to help you maybe understand better. Your imagination is God. Everything that you see and experience is your emotionalized thoughts and mental images pushed out into the world. The God of Scripture is simply a metaphor of your own creative faculties, and your surrounding world is self-formed in the most literal sense. So, your imagination, remember, does not just create reality, but is reality. And it's at the base of everything that you experience in your world. As Neville says here, whatever's going on in your mind, and really in both minds, right? The mind of the head, the mind that comes from the thoughts in the head, in the brain, but also the mind of the heart. And that imagination of yours creates your world. It's your world pushed out, therefore, your world is reflecting those imaginal acts of yours. And let me end this long video by another quote from Neville that is going to be a reminder for you that imagination is reality, not just something fake that creates something real. Here it goes. God is the dreamer, dreaming the play into existence, and God plays all the parts. Everyone who appears in your world is God playing that part for you, the author. The world, which seems so real, is as much a dream as the dream we encounter while asleep. On those words, my dear friends, thank you for watching. Please like the video if you liked it, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time.